Welcome to the Ask Dr. Khan show. This is Dr. Peter Khan, functional medicine doctor, and on this show, you're just one whiteboard away from solving your health puzzle. Now, in the past few weeks, I've been really diving into immune function and helping you to understand, this COVID situation. And I think we're getting to the point where, we have a lot of people who's just sick and tired of being locked at home, and understandably so. And I've said this before, and I'm going to just kind of touch on this real quick because I think I'm going to get past this point of COVID, okay? The bottom line is COVID is not the same as flu. It is very dangerous for those with underlying conditions. Like if you're elderly, if you have diabetes, you have heart disease, you have respiratory conditions, yes, it's very serious. You get serious complications. It's not good for you. For the rest of us, it's not that bad. So don't live in fear. Don't live in, it's not like you walk out and there's like a cloud of COVID that you're walking into. It's not the case, folks. So don't live in fear. There's not like COVID virus raining down from the sky. That's not how this works. So for those of us who are healthy and no underlying condition, and if you're taking proactive steps, COVID is not a death sentence. So don't live like it is, okay? For those of you who have underlying condition, yes, be careful. Wash your hands, social distancing. I've said this over and over again. But what choice do we have in this matter? The choice we have is how we respond to it, which is your mindset. If you're going to be stressed about it, how's that going to change anything, right? I mean, how you deal with COVID is how you have always dealt with anything in your life, folks. Don't make this into something that is not, right? I mean, what it is, it's a very serious infection for those who have underlying conditions. If you don't have an underlying condition, don't turn this into more than what it is, right? We don't need to do that. That's not reality. The reality is that if you're elderly, you have underlying conditions, be very, very careful. But if you are not elderly and you don't have underlying condition, don't act like there's COVID raining down from the sky. There isn't. Live your life. Live healthy like you always have done, right? In the past, when there's flu, when there's SARS, when there's, Ebola, whatever outbreak there have been, right? I've lived through many of them, bird flu, whatever. Like, what do we do? Well, you just be careful. You wash your hands, right? You don't go lick the surface of the shopping cart, right? Just you do the sensible things. But the choice you have in this is your response to it. And also, what do you do on a regular basis to take care of your health? I mean, if you are not the one that exercise on a regular basis, you're not the one that eats your vegetable on a regular basis, you have blood sugar problem, you have underlying inflammatory problem, isn't it time to get that handled even more so now? So why don't we focus on the positives, right? So watching the news is kind of counterproductive, Watch the Ask Dr. Khan show. I want to plug it a little bit. I'm giving you real information that's not political, not overemphasizing, not overhype the risk, but not underhyping the risk. Again, for those with underlying condition who are elderly, absolutely be careful, right? So let's talk about this. I'm going to show you today what are the things that could be a factor, okay, and how to tie this all together. I'm going to tell you, there's a big idea here. Stay with me here. I'm going to show you the big idea that's going to help you understand not just how you fight this virus, but how you fight any virus, and how do you even get healthy from autoimmune condition, from inflammation, from any chronic health problem. Because the big idea is that there's these dots that connect all together. Allow me to connect the dot for you. Stay with me right here. Let me show you. So here is your brain. Okay, that's your brain. In the brain, you have a gland called the pituitary gland. Okay, the pituitary gland is a hormone gland that lives right here that makes hormone to help regulate all the other hormones. One of the hormone this pituitary gland produces is called the corticotropin releasing hormone, CRH. Now, this hormone is released in the presence of stress. Now, I think you will all agree, prior to this COVID coming, right, prior to this COVID pandemic, there was plenty of stress to go around in this world, right? I mean, just before COVID, we already were having work stress and, relationship stress and, money stress, whatever stress there are. So stress has always been there before COVID. Okay, I'm going to share something personal with you. Since this COVID, this whole self-quarantine and all this business, I felt that my life has actually measurably improved with this pandemic. That's just something personal that I'm sharing with you. Why? Because prior to this COVID, I have 4 kids. We were running them around to sports, to school, and they're all in different ages, different activity. My wife and I, we were just, I have to work and my wife taking care of the kids. We were just running ourselves ragged all day. With this whole pandemic, school closed, we're doing school at home. We're not running around all day. My life has slowed down so much, other than, my work, my practice, and I practice virtually. And by the way, I've been practicing virtually online for 2 years now, way before this pandemic happened. Way before all the doctors are doing telemedicine and rush to telemedicine, I've been doing Zoom, virtual consultation, helping people with their chronic condition for the past 2 years. So my business hasn't changed. In fact, it's done really well. So I'm very blessed. But my life has slowed down dramatically because I don't have to drive everywhere. I don't have to take the kids to all this stuff. We don't have to keep up a schedule. And that, to me, has been a blessing in that it's helped me reduce my stress level. And I think that's a blessing. And please put in the comment section if you've noticed that your life has slowed down a little bit. Like you're not running around like a chicken with the head cut off since this pandemic, since this self-quarantining. I think that's a good thing. So what I'm making a point is that stress is a big factor for all of us, right? Even before the pandemic. And what happens with stress is stimulates the pituitary gland to pump out corticotropin releasing hormone. This hormone will go ahead and stimulate the adrenal gland. The adrenal gland is a hormone gland that sits on top of the kidney, and this gland produces many hormones, but one of the main hormones is cortisol. And cortisol is a hormone that helps you to handle stress. How does it help you handle stress? By increasing glucose level in your blood. Now, why would that help you with stress? Well, because when you're stressed, remember what stress is. It's fight or flight. Stress, whether it's real or imagined, your body cannot tell the difference between real or imagined stress. Meaning, whether you have a tiger right in front of you that's trying to eat you, or you imagine there's a tiger trying to eat you, your body will pump out the stress hormone. So what are these imagined tiger? The paper tiger, I call it. That will be the work stress, the job stress, the relationship stress, and so forth, right? And your body's pumping out the stress hormone just the same as in a fight or flight response. So when you have more sugar, glucose in the blood, it helps you with fight or flight. It helps you ramp up physical activity so you can get away from the tiger or imagine stress. So that's why cortisol is a stress response hormone. And the way it does that is by increasing glucose level in your blood. Now, if your stress is very high, then you're going to have very high corticotropin releasing hormone. And therefore, you're going to have very high cortisol level. And therefore, you're going to have very high glucose level. And what happens when you have high glucose level? Well, your body makes another hormone called insulin to help you process all the sugar in the blood. And when you have a lot of glucose, you're going to make a lot of insulin. And what that's going to lead to is insulin resistance. Guess what the code word for insulin resistance is? Insulin resistance equals type 2 diabetes. So literally, you can give yourself type 2 diabetes or prediabetes from having stress. This is the physiology, folks, of stress. It's always been this way. So what Western medicine does is treat the end result, the symptom of type 2 diabetes with a drug, but nobody's talking about the stress. Or just remember, you could do this with diet too, right? Certainly, if you eat a diet full of sugary diet, that's also going to promote insulin resistance, right? So this could be stress, could be diet. So nobody's looking at the trigger, the root cause, which is the stress or the sugary diet. They're treating the symptom of type 2 diabetes. So now what happens is when you have this high cortisol pattern, not only is this going to create insulin resistance, which, by the way, the symptoms of which are fatigue, weight gain, especially belly fat, and hormone imbalance. When you have insulin resistance, you basically create problem with your estrogen and progesterone, because the processing of estrogen and progesterone is highly dependent on proper blood sugar level. And that's why when you have weight issues, when you have obesity, when you have blood sugar imbalance, your estrogen and progesterone level tend to get thrown off. And you get all these symptoms relating to it, such as irregular cycle, heavy menstrual cycle, because you simply cannot detox the estrogen very well. That's the hormone connection to blood sugar, the hormone connection to your lifestyle choices and your diet. That's why so many females have estrogen dominance, heavy menstrual flow, fibroids, cysts, PCOS. It's all related to insulin resistance, blood sugar, lifestyle. And remember, when I say lifestyle, it's not just your diet, it's stress too. Everybody wants to say, what do I eat? What do I not eat? What supplement do I take? What about stress, right? Let's talk about stress. We need to manage stress. And with this whole pandemic and the news, feeding it, that's not helping the stress. So I'm telling you to not pay attention to the news, because most of the numbers are just overblown. It's not accurate. I don't care what side of political aisle you're on. It's just not accurate, right? And I made several videos talking about this. In fact, the last 2 episodes of the Ask Dr. Khan show, you got to watch them, folks. Go back to YouTube or Facebook and watch the last 2 episodes of the Ask Dr. Khan show. I give you the real stats, give you original source. I give you the link to the article so you can read it for yourself. Folks, read the original source. Don't listen to a news article telling you about the source. Read the actual article, right? So this is a lifestyle piece. Now, the other thing here is that when you have high cortisol, this is important. This thing is bad. The cortisol is bad because high cortisol will go ahead and suppress SIGA. This is called secretory IgA. Secretory IgA is immunoglobulin A. This is an immune marker that's made primarily in the gut. So this is a measurement of mucosal immunity. What the heck is mucosal immunity? Mucosal means anything in your lining. What lining? Your nasal lining, your mouth lining, your gut lining, anything that's like the inner cavity of your body, which is your mouth, your sinus, your nose, your gut, right? Even your bladder, these inner cavities are lined with these mucosal antibody. This is a measurement of how well you can defend against infections, folks. So when you get viral particles, why do you get viruses? You only get viral infection if the viral particle can penetrate your mucosa, folks. Whoa, I just erased everything. SIGA is secretory IgA, which are immune protection for you in your mucosal surface. And the mucosal surface is in your sinus, in your mouth, in your nose, in your gut. Okay? So the viral particle, you can only get sick with virus if the viral particle penetrates your mucosa, folks. And if you have low secretory IgA, because you have chronic stress and causing high stress hormone, you're going to have low SIGA, which means your mucosal immune function is going to go down, which means it's going to be easier for the viral particle to penetrate your surface lining, and therefore you get a viral infection. So the key here, that's why we talk about gut, right? Gut health determines your immune health. Why? Because if you have a lot of SIGA, healthy levels, then it's very difficult for the viral particle to penetrate. Because these guys serve as a bouncer. It's the first line of defense in your cavities, in your nose, in your mouth, in your gut, to get rid of these viral and bacterial and whatever pathogen you come across. Now, if you have chronic stress and you have high blood sugar, and therefore your cortisol is all jacked up, or you're inflamed and you have autoimmune, then your cortisol level is going to be high because you're constantly inflamed, you're constantly stressed. That's going to lead to low SIGA levels, which means that your mucosa is going to be easier to penetrate by the virus. Okay. Now, the next piece here is that as you get high cortisol, not only do you get low SIGA, this also leads to another condition called leaky gut. And I talked about leaky gut, for the past 10 years. Okay, so there's plenty of video on my YouTube channel you can watch that I talk about leaky gut in detail. Now, the point of leaky gut is that it leads to this double whammy of malabsorption and inflammation. The end result is that this inflammation will cross the blood-brain barrier and once it crosses the blood-brain barrier, this inflammation will trigger brain inflammation. And brain inflammation is felt as brain fog. Brain inflammation is felt as depression. Brain inflammation can be felt as anxiety, can be felt as memory loss. So here we have this constellation of symptoms, right? You have someone who has things like brain fog, memory loss, word loss, can't focus, depression, anxiety, right? Put a comment in the comment section if you experience these brain symptoms, like brain fog, can't focus, you get depression. Maybe not all the time, but you get it occasionally. You don't know why. You have no reason to be depressed or anxious, but you get them. Put a comment in the comment section, say, yes, I have brain symptoms. Okay, that's brain symptoms. Secondly, you have absorption problems. So you have GI symptoms. So how does GI symptoms show up? You get gas, you get bloating, you have food sensitivities. Maybe you have heartburn reflux, maybe you don't, but your bowel movement may be not that smooth. Sometimes you get loose stool, sometimes you get constipation or alternating constipation diarrhea. You get these GI problems, okay? So that's brain, that's gut. And thirdly, you have immune system challenges. You get sick easily. You get sinus infection all the time. Like you just don't know, why do I get recurrent sinus infection? Mucosal, right? I talk about your mucosa is being penetrated by microbes easier because your immune system's weak. So this is the connection to the COVID, right? Here you are worrying about COVID. You don't got to worry about COVID. You got to worry about you. You got to worry about your immune function. You got to worry about your gut. How can you improve your immune function? That's where it's at. And what causes problem with the immune function is stress, is lifestyle choices, is your diet. If you have sensitivity to certain food, you keep eating the food that you're sensitive to, you're going to just degrade the gut. If you have blood sugar problems, if you have autoimmune problems, that can cause leaky gut, and that can cause gut immune issues. So we got to address that. So there's a lot of pieces to it, right? You may have like chronic infections. Even before there's COVID, you may already have chronic viral issues like Epstein-Barr. That's going to be a problem for you. You need to identify that. If you have chronic gut dysbiosis, where you have gut imbalance, where you have too much bad bacteria, not enough good bacteria, we can do this all through testing. I can test you wherever you are in the country. I send you a test kit. You can collect this data. We can set up a very good solid baseline, tell you where you are, and then we can take plans to get you to a better place. Okay? But the point is, you have to look at this thing holistically. You cannot just say, virus, what do I take? Sure, vitamin C helps, zinc helps, vitamin D helps. I talked about all this. But at the end of the day, it's not about just taking some vitamins. The end of the day is what is your body doing, your health. Your health is more than just vitamin C and zinc. Your health is more than just worrying about COVID. Your health is a holistic issue. It's about the decisions you make. And this leads me back to sharing with you my personal story. I feel like during this pandemic, my health has improved. My family's health has improved. My kids' health has improved. Why? Because they're not running around to 10 different places, right? Our life has slowed down because we're not as stressed. We're eating at home better. We're eating home-cooked meal. Hopefully you guys are doing that. We're eating home-cooked meal instead of just rushing and eating rushed, right? Before, we're just trying to get them to sports, get the kids to their activity. We don't even have time to chew our food. How's that good for digestion? Our health has improved since this whole COVID pandemic in that we're slowing things down. So health is a mindset. Health is a mindset. It starts with a mindset. And your mindset drives your action, right? So if your mindset is one where COVID's going to get me, COVID's going to get me, well, guess what? That's going to drive certain action, which means that COVID's going to get me, I better stay in and not go out. Guess what? You don't go out, you don't get exercise, you don't get sun exposure. That's about the worst thing you can do for your health, right? Whoever said staying in and not get sun exposure and not get exercise and just locked in your house, rebreathing all the air that's circulating in your own house, whoever said that's good for you, I mean, there's no scientific proof of that. Because you're assuming that you walk out, there's a cloud of COVID that's coming to get you. There isn't. Now, if you walk next to somebody and they cough on you or you touch them and you lick your hand, yeah, you're putting yourself at risk with catching something, right? I mean, don't do that, but we all know not to do that. I mean, were we doing that before this COVID where we're licking people? We weren't, right? So let's not blow this out of proportion. Let's live our life. Let's be healthy. Let's take a healthy mindset, because when we do that, it's going to drive our activity and drive our actions in a different way. And the mindset is what's going to help you to stay healthy, help your family to stay healthy. It's going to help everybody else to stay healthy. It's going to stop this, this unnecessary lockdown, which is actually making people less healthy, and it's not helping the economy either. Again, not getting political with it, right? This is a health show, but I want you to know that this is important. Take care of yourself, folks. If you need help, let me help you. We can run tests. People can do mobile phlebotomy, come to your house without you having to go to a lab. There's home test kit, fingerprint test, there's a stool test we can do to find out where your health is. You need to have these all figured out, okay? Let me help you to figure out your health so you're not living in fear, but actually taking proactive steps. Schedule a 15-minute free discovery call with our staff so that they can let you know how the program works and whether you're a candidate, how we can help you, and different ways we can help you. But I'm here to serve. I'm here to help. Use our videos as a resource. These are free videos available to you. Please share and like the videos. And please talk to our staff about, scheduling a call. I love to meet with you. I love to help. And really, it's what drives me. Okay, so let me just send a few shout outs here. JP, thank you so much for watching from Texas. Good to see you. And Roman, good to see you again, sir. Thank you for always watching the show here. And Agnes, thank you so much for watching. Please share the video. Jorge, good to see you again, sir. And we have Becky Shanshek. Great to see you. Love you, and glad to see you on the show here. We have Vivek from India. Thank you for watching. And Elizabeth, thank you so much for watching. You need help with insulin resistance? Yes, that's one of the things that we really focus on. You got to do the foundational stuff really, really well. So Elizabeth, if you need help with insulin resistance, please give us a call. Love to help you. Schedule a 15-minute call. Connie, great to see you. And we have Marianne, good to see you. Great, thank you for the comment. And awesome. And Victoria, good to see you as well. Thank you so much. How can you get a test? Victoria, again, schedule a free 15-minute discovery call with our staff so they can know what your concerns are, what area you want to work on. Then we can let you know what tests will be appropriate for you and how to go about doing that. So schedule a 15-minute discovery call. I'll put the link on our Facebook page and on the YouTube link in the description so you can see that and be able to schedule. Good to see you guys again. God bless you. Please like and share the video so people can hear this, so they know that there's hope. There's proactive things you can do. There's positive things you can do instead of worrying unnecessarily. Love you guys. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.